to feel for it, and you've got to train it in your work. Now, yet again, we listen to the work, the career track presentations. You have the internships, alley, the CV constructor, the professional orientation, the background for your CV, career consultants, recommendations on getting curriculum, thousands of gifts, interviews with the employers. In 30 minutes, you can really experience and test your own soft skills and package your experience. It's about self-presentation. You can do that without being overly positive about yourself. You can still sell yourself. I mean, if you're a diamond yet covered in a glazer of insecurity, nobody will pay attention to you. So you can take half an hour to wipe off this insecurity of your image, to see how you can offer yourself and volunteer yourself into the project. Come and do that. 10 top IT security companies will consider your candidacy with great pleasure. Now, those who are creating this culture, not just developing it, with us. Fellow of the High School of Economics, Sergey Fontan and Anton Fakhretdinov, two Antons here. So, how did these two outstanding guys create the All-Russian contest for school children in cybersecurity? Hello, dear friends, Anton and Anton. I'm Anton Sergeyev. I am fellow of the Moscow Institute for Electronics and Mathematics, High School of Economics. I work at a large Bank of Russia. I'm a student of the High School of Economics, and I am a member of the panel of the All-Russian contest in electronic security for school children. So our presentation is going to be useful to those who have school children, students in the family. Well, at our university, we put together all kinds of educational modes, and 4 years ago, the Ministry of Education of the Russian Federation turned to us with a request to put together an information data security contest for the entire country. So anyone who works in info business, getting into this at school age, how can he or she convert their skills to get into the most reputable university of the country, from the Moscow State University to the High School of Economics, or elsewhere without taking the admissions exams? So these are our photos, the number of people that get together, put together the contest, will outnumber the capacity of the stage. We have an outstanding theoretical track in this contest. Alexander Sorokin works on that. We have an excellent project track. Roman Mishrikov, professor, is in charge of that. The star of the industry, Tanya Kurmasheva, is a member of this team as well. So we are here to represent the entire team. Now, how does this work? A contest is a business class ticket into the world of the career in information or data security. You can really convert your skills into serious preferences on the level of the entire country. You have CTF level competitions. It's the key mode of practical contest in informational data security. So usually it's CTF. It works in this mode all over the place. In standoff, the guys are working on this. And in fact, Anton has just completed the standoff recently. That's right. And we are submitting our reports right now. Right. So you've managed to attend both. Now, the thing is, you won it all on the planet. Your team is in the top 100 teams in the world. You are doing really well. You have this excellent calendar for contests. But recently, in terms of the educational system and of the government, you are nothing and no one, because you never prepared for the unified university exam, right? So we all understand this is no longer the case. You can convert your city of skills into getting admitted to an educational institution, a higher ed institution, without any exams. So this bridge, in fact, is quite iconic. We close it, we merge it. So in the city of community, we work with the system of education of the Russian Federation, and we merge this bridge to close this gap.
Я говорю, Олимпиада по информационной безопасности. То есть, если говорить
So the first point which I would like to mention, the Olympiad on information security.
это проще
If we consider the language of the ministerial documents, this is the document on
его приземлить
information security,
технологии. Вместе с
and it landed on the Olympiad of information security and robotics. And you do understand that the Olympiad on technologies basically previously were technology classes where boys and girls learn how to use common tools.
например,
And then if we go down the education system, it all fall down to schools. And
душевное, за 3 года мы все им объяснили,
it was the wrong person who was responsible in the end. That's the point.
в более
But now it has changed. This year we are moving to the more correct way for information security area. Now it is more about information IT classes. They have robotics, information security, programming, and one more.
наша Олимпиада, она как выполнялась, так и выполняется. То есть мы
The goal of our Olympiad
положение написано.
is to do the following.
Проявляет
We select people who have amazing capabilities and we allow them to
собственно, вот на этой замечательной
enter the university without passing the exams. So this is what it looks like on the screen. That's the finals in April this year in Kazan.
задание.
There was a very big team that collected and compounded all the tests.
Для проведения
In Kazan, there was a big work unfolding the infrastructure. Obviously, we'd like to thank our Kazan colleagues. They were very professional.
сейчас
In 3 years now, we have
более 150 человек
more than 150 young specialists who got the right
экзамены серьезно.
to enter the university, serious university, without doing the exams.
Практический трек. Почему? Потому что в
We are talking about very practical track because the Olympiad is the best way to get into the university. It awards you with the highest number of points which you need to get to the university.
с этого
And look at the slide. There was a decision by the Minister of the Enlightenment. The number of guys and girls who got to the finals has increased 5 times. So you have the 5 times more the chance to get to the final and to get high score, and with your rating get to the university without exams. So previously we had 20 people from
270 человек.
form number 9, 20 people from form number 10, and 20 from 11. Now we have about 100 people instead. So that's actually quite a lot.
В какой-то
If you focus, if you specialize in certain area,
да,
like in binary exploits,
неплохо знаете,
maybe you don't really know web, maybe you don't really know reverse engineering, but you can put your score and get it from one of the areas. Now I would like to pass the clicker to Anton.
Уточню, бонусы,
Thank you.
которые
I would
получают
like to say a few words regarding the benefits that
помимо бесплатного
our
поступления почти во все,
Olympiad winners receive,
это также
besides
поощрение от регионов.
going to being able to go to any university of Russia, that's also monetary compensation
частных компаний.
and also scholarship from the government and from
Поэтому
commercial companies.
всем CTF
That is why we
Всероссийскую Олимпиаду школьников.
propose that all the CTF people, all the capture the flag people, you should consider doing this school Olympiad.
Победы в Олимпиаде достаточно просты.
Obviously, it is quite simple to win in the Olympiad. First, you have to get more than 50% of the score
Быть
for all the rounds of the
лучше
final and be in top 45% of all the participants.
проходят.
So all the people who got to the table, all the people who got to the final,
Правда,
half of them will be the winners.
не взаимоисключающие.
And obviously, this can be both or either of them.
Всем
There
привычный
are 4 stages. School stage,
где
and municipality level.
проходит только теория.
Just like at the school level, you are talking only about theory, at least this year. These two stages are theoretical. Then you go to the regional level. And this year,
1000 человек.
there were more than 1,500 people who got to the regional stages. And the final, just like Anton said, more than 250,000, 250, just 250
проведения.
people got to the finals.
Сейчас в нынешнем треке технологии
This year, under this track,
как раз-таки
there are 3 stages in this Olympiad.
обсуждается
And
победитель либо призер в Олимпиаде.
the people who get the most score are awarded the prize. First, it's theory, forensic tasks, CTF tasks. Second is project, which they developed for a year and then give the presentation for the jury at the end during the finals. And finally, that's
года пропадет. Останется только практика.
that will be theory.
Будет именно на практику.
So 3 stages: theory, practice, and project.
Ну, как бы глубоко погружены в
And I would like to say that people who have deep understanding of the project, and you might say that we had information security
которая
Olympiad named after Venchenko.
Академия ФСБ.
It was
И
done by the Institute of Cryptography and Communications and FSB. And you would be correct. But if you open those tasks, and it was absolutely amazing, but you would see that those problems were mathematical and crypto tasks. And the Academy of FSB needs these people. But this is a different one.
практических инфобизнесов
This is to create practical information security people, and we need thousands of them.
реалистами, не тысячами.
Crypto people, we need them, but not thousands. We need dozens.
Опять же, в соответствии с положением
That is why this year,
нас уходит
according to
в Олимпиаде имени Верченко,
the program,
это непосредственно
we will have 2 stages: practice with a lot of
приносит
points dedicated to that stage, and the project. Project you develop yourself at home, you do it for the whole year, and then you present it at the end of the stage, at the end of the finals.
Олимпиадная специфика.
And there is a certain specificity that goes from the previous year. First of all, these are time frame.
Теории
3.5 hours to solve theory and practice.
очное участие в
And obviously, you have to participate in person. That will be offline. But the main one, the absence of the internet on the platform, on the venue, just like during the normal governmental exams. So there are some technical difficulties.
Привычки ставят
When
учителей физкультуры на
teachers,
Олимпиады по технологии.
physical education teachers, are asked to
Как-то настраивать,
substitute for other teachers, maybe for
те области,
IT
которые мы им передаем.
classes, and they have to do something they are not used to.
вот до этого года тянулась, но, как я сказал, с этого года
This is what we had previously in the past, but now we finally have the people who should be responsible for the work would be IT teachers and IT professors. We have webinars, we have workshops, and now you can finally see that people finally can understand how it works and how it should be organized, how to win
Когда
after 3 years. But still, there are sometimes cases where regions who do not have their own IT department, IT people, cannot
занулять баллы.
host original stage, and they have to receive 0 for that level, for that stage. So speaking about tasks we had this year, it was stylized to Atomic Heart. It's a popular video game.
Поэтому
There was no
участников даётся
internet,
имитация
so
трикса и иные
our school children receive hack tricks,
умные ребята в целом
documentation, and other documents on how to solve those problems. And smart boys and girls actually solve these problems.
непростые задачки.
But there are even difficult ones. So, for example, this year,
Полимерный
there was an interesting web
Шевченко.
problem, polymer calculator, developed by Vlad Shevchenko. It uses Python, and all you had to do is to get the flag file. But there were so many limitations.
Внутренних
You couldn't use the majority of the internal Python functions. All the local variables were removed,
убрано, Unicode нормализация.
and
Оставалось
normalization was also removed. You could only use
такого
this
маленького списка разрешенных объектов,
small list of objects,
считав его с
and
помощью внутренних функций Python. Это было
you
непросто.
had to use internal functions of Python to collect the flag, and it was very complex problem, and only 2 people were able to solve it, but obviously they got what they deserved. They became the winners.
Интересно, но непросто.
Here you can see it on the screen. That's a pretty difficult solution for this problem, and now school boys and girls can write the code in less than 3.5 hours, and that's only one of 12 problems they have to solve. Next is the echo operation.
Бинарную эксплуатацию. Участникам был выдан
This was a problem for Piven binary exploitation. They had a file called Python elf.
были статические
This file had statically linked functions, and the problem was to understand how bufferization process of the size variable occurs. This variable, which is int by type, had a very large
2 миллиардов.
amount, more than 2 billions.
Передача
And when this value was transferred
происходила
somewhere here on this line, there was unclear
значение
change of the type to int. So it was minus 2 billion, should have become plus 2 billion. But
переменных
due to the particularities of int variables, and anti-int means that when you work with greater value, it should go beyond the limits of buffer. And this is what happens. Participants had to see this unclear
эксплуатировав эту бинарную уязвимость, вывести
change, and they had to use this binary exploit and get access to the flag.
Типичный портрет
So
победителя.
this is
Человек, который...
the typical portrait of the participant, someone who,
То есть это означает,
of the winner, someone who
что по нескольким направлениям
solved 2/3 of the problems.
То есть это
They have good fundamentals, they have networks, they have reverse engineering, pill, web,
отчет может заполнить там CNC.
they can fill out the reports, they can work with CNC. Basically, that's a young information security expert. And in order to find these people from different schools across our country, we give them these problems, and not all of these problems are connected with code, and we do understand that
Время
according to the format,
сутки.
they do not have enough time to solve it. It's not CTF, it's not capture the flag, it's not 24 hours, it's just less than 4 hours at the offline stage, at the offline venue, and they have to solve as many problems as possible. We, as developers, have to make those problems solvable. We make them as easy and transparent as understand. We get them track tricks. We make the scope of work
Килобайт в код.
as small as possible so that they do not have to go through the documentation, which would take hours. But we still want to have some peculiarities. Like in this problem, quantum chaos, there is a very interesting legend
квантовом процессоре
written by the
станция
person who created this.
в памяти находится
The number of data was fragmented. Memory has the script which is required for putting together and decrypting the flag, and it's called python.dump. The problem was to find the function that was encrypted in dump, decrypt it using certain key,
с помощью нее
then use this function in some to restore it and obviously decrypt the flag. And it was very interesting how to solve this problem. So if you know
выглядит
more or less on how the file looks like and should look like the Python dump, you might think that there's some function, Python function was coded, but
стрингами
function in Python is called dev. Then you see this in strings, the content of the file. They saw that it was encoded by B64, and you had to search encoded def and find def, the function. And obviously it had an intentional typo, and the majority of people who got to this stage, unfortunately, missed it. But those who saw it, they were able to decrypt the flag and get access to it. And only a few people were able to do so, and they also became the winners of this Olympiad.
Так. И немножечко
Next.
о особенностях теории в этом
A few points regarding the theory this year. on the technology track.
Классные, хорошие задачки на криптографии и основы
There are
информационной
great
безопасности. Но
cryptography and the fundamentals of information security problems. The peculiarity here is that everybody receives general tasks, general problems, like the one where you need to define the representative of a profession who is here at the Revolution Square. Or maybe what is this device? What would be,
фотографии.
Ну да, я еще раз подчеркну, да,
what
что
was switched in,
сделала юмор.
so you take a look at the photo and you see what was
Некоторые
exchanged, what kind of device replaced
к счастью, с этого
the
года,
objects on the photo. Yes, and it was kind of humorous tasks, and we wanted to make them simple but also funny.
Интересными и
And
классными
we will not have these problems next years. This was a little bit different last years.
квизе. Участники квиза могут
Now we will have a quiz. You can actually have this quiz if you go through QR code. You'll be able to pick up your gifts at the Higher School of Economics booth just nearby. From 1525, the first 9 people
маленькие сувениры.
who come to our booth will get their souvenirs. And finally, a few words about our dream team. This year, we had a new team for problem developers. Obviously, all the students from the Higher School of Economics
представители индустрии.
and the representatives from the industry.
Столкнулись с самыми интересными нюансами
We faced interesting different nuances from the finals, including that
проведения. Узнали
one of the venues,
дня до начала. Но
we've learned only about the physical location only 2 days before the actual event. But our
косты были готовы.
colleagues were absolutely amazing, and all the hosts were ready for the Olympiad. But obviously, you have these classical hot fixes during the prod. We got to Kazan. It seems great. We had the rehearsal. We solved all the problems,
Но
and we had all the network. Everything was working fine. 3 days before the Olympiad, when we were getting ready, when we were testing the servers, there was a new version of VirtualBox 7.1.x.
более 100
But when hundreds of school children wanted to get access to those servers went down one after another. We had no idea what was going on,
10 минут
and
задачу.
it took us about 10 minutes to realize that probably it was about NAT.
Олимпиады
And it was true. A day before
в официальном
the Olympiad, we had a ticket on the official website of the virtual box with NAT problem when more than 9 people connected at the same time.
фиксили.
That was the problem. We fixed it and we continued with the Olympiad.
Да, просто
Please go to the previous slide. Usually these events are, obviously these are tests for school children, but this is also a test for the jury, for the team, for the experts, for people who assemble the venue. You would never imagine that virtual box that is known completely, this specific version, with this specific driver, who could have guessed that NAT would not work here?
примерно за 20
We had no idea that we could have this problem. All these people you can see here on the photo, we solved this problem in 20 minutes.
на 45 минут. Дальше они продолжили выполнение.
And then they continued with the work.
Потому что только что они
And
решали.
it was actually funny because they were solving problems and now jury is trying to solve different problems, and they were looking around and seeing how we solve actual practical problems, and it was a great experience.
Наш доклад
And that is all for our presentation.
как и было сказано, сильно
The
изменится
Olympiad
в году.
will change next year
В информатике будет сделан
and it will
практику.
become more practical.
И, мы ожидаем, естественно, прироста и участия.
We expect the increase of participants,
Да, в общем, ребята, играйте в CTF.
and obviously play CTF, play Capture the Flag. And if you are successful, tell it about your school teachers, and they will know how to help you and how to use this.
которые ведут на
And finally, a few QR codes that lead you to more information about Olympiad and feedback.
10 секунд на эти QR-коды, и потом мы отмотаем.
Yes, 10 seconds on the ethics, and then we'll go back to the quiz QR code.
Вот. Ну, в целом мы будем рады ответить на ваши вопросы.
In general, we are ready to answer your questions.
Мы вот у того
After this presentation, we will be next to that pavilion with the blue line PhD, and we will be there for about 10 minutes. And then we will be giving out prizes to 9 winners of the quiz, the first 9 people who would answer all the questions.
Вот, квиз. Прошу, пробуйте свои
Да,
силы.
немножко
So
мерчим.
this is the
Спасибо.
QR code for the quiz.
Антона, спасибо вам большое.
An absolutely amazing duo from 2 Antons. Do not be afraid to exploit binary vulnerability and go beyond the limits. Do not be afraid. And that's so great listening to this, watching this. I think there are so many people who understand this better, just like you understand this topic better than I do. Your colleagues from Science Technical Olympiad, and I think you are colleagues, first and foremost. And they were able to give out rewards for school children on different subjects, and now finally they can work with the Olympians on cybersecurity too. And I think this is happiness. It's not work in the Kremlin, but you see the people around you, see the children around you, see